Hi friends, welcome back to Bucketheadzz. It's Masters of the Universe release day here in the US, and there's a bunch of buckets being released across multiple theaters, but most people are excited for this thing. This is the Power Sword Cup, available at AMC, Regal, Cinemark, Epic, and maybe Marcus. I couldn't confirm that. But either way, this thing is available lots of places, and it is quite the conversation piece. But now that I have it in my hands, there's a few things that I feel you should know that'll hopefully help you decide whether or not you should purchase this. So without further ado, let's get into it. Follow me to the lab. As you can see, this thing is very big. It measures 44 inches long, and it kind of reminds me of a sword you'd get in an officially licensed He-Man all-in-one costume. At this point, I want to apologize because I know nothing about He-Man. It was a bit before my time, so if I say anything that exposes my ignorance of the lore, I apologize. That said, we're not here to talk about He-Man, we're here to talk about this, and whether or not you should buy it. As I said, it's not actually a popcorn bucket, it's a cup. And the cup section is in the hilt of the power sword, which measures about 12 inches long and holds 40 ounces of liquid. The sword itself actually splits into three parts. You have the handle of the sword, which has a pass-through for the included 24-inch straw. The cup portion, which as I said is 12 inches long, and has a male adapter that can be threaded into the blade of the sword. Then you have the blade itself, which is purely decorative. Next, let's talk practicality, because I think you could say the term purely decorative applies to the whole cup, not just the blade. There are some weird design choices here that really hold this back from being a premium collectible. For one, this cup very clearly has a presentation side and a non-presentation side. That's because the manufacturer, Snapco, chose to mold the safety warnings into the side of the blade, which means that if you look at the back side of the cup, you'll be greeted with a bunch of legalese. That may be a turnoff for some people. Another strange design choice is the cup itself. I really like how they tried to make the sword more practical by having it split into three pieces. But the fact that the male end of the connection is on the bottom of the cup means that the cup itself won't be able to sit flat. And even if it did sit flat, it's so tall and oddly shaped that it's going to spill your drink. So I guess you could say that even though this thing is cool, it's not at all practical. The bigger issue in the way it's designed is cleaning it. I've talked before how in complicated shaped popcorn buckets you run the risk of losing pieces inside the bucket itself. Well, the problem is worse with cups because the cup itself is hollow, which means that whatever sugary beverage you put in will have to be cleaned out. So be prepared to wear out your fingers when deep cleaning this thing if you decide to put anything other than water in it. Now that we've dealt with practicality, let's talk price. As a cup, this thing is pretty expensive. Most movie tie-in cups I've seen run about $20, so this is twice the price of comparable items at $40. However, at $40 for a novelty prop, this is a steal. And that's what this really is. This is probably the easiest way to get a Power Sword replica for cosplay or collecting if you're a fan. That said, there are some issues with the quality that I still think hold this thing back from being a universal buy and keeps this firmly in the realm of collectibles for committed He-Man fans. The injection molded plastic is highly textured and even has some great detail on the handle and the crossguard of the sword, but it falls victim to a principle we see in mass production where the bigger an object is, the easier it is to see little imperfections in individual units. So whether it's tiny plastic sprues sticking out at odd angles, or seams in the plastic itself due to its multi-piece design, there's a slight lack of polish that probably can't be avoided in a piece this size. So if you're going in expecting a highly polished replica, this is probably not the collectible for you. That said, let's talk about the X Factor. The X Factor of this cup should be fairly apparent. Both the size and the recognizability of the sword will make this a must-have for most fans of the IP. But as a general movie theater collectible, I would maybe look at putting my money somewhere else. To be clear, the He-Man Swordsipper is worth it if you're into that sort of thing. Well, anyways, guys, that's the review. If you liked it, comment and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.